Welcome to Monograph Matters. I'm talking today with Kimberly Nesbitt and Dale Farran about their SRCD Monograph on the effects of pre-kindergarten curricula. This discussion focuses on the author's vision for early childhood education in the United States.
What's your vision for what early childhood education could be in the United States? Is there a national vision for early childhood education? Do we need a national curriculum, and how could that be achieved?
So thank you. This is another really important question. And as we talk at some length in our monograph, unlike other highly resourced countries around the world, the US stands out for not having a unified vision for the competencies young children should have before beginning a formal education. The Nordic countries, France, UK, New Zealand, they all have a national vision, and in some cases, a general curriculum that reflects that vision. Although their version of curriculum in most cases is far less prescriptive than the US versions. Our lack of a national vision is reflected in the multiple curricula that are listed by many states as appropriate for teachers and programs to adopt that differ wildly from each other. Tools of the Mind is often on that list, but then so is Let's Begin with Letter People and other very literacy-focused curricula. There are multiple reasons why we don't have such a unified vision, starting with our very individualistic philosophy, reflected in the notion that families are on their own to raise the children they have, and the US government should have no role. But not having a role in dictating what parents should do does not mean that the government doesn't have a role or shouldn't have a role in supporting families while their children are young. In this country, more than almost all other industrialized countries, we leave families of young children on their own. So not being integrated, our US policies not being integrated, they tend to revolve around particular issues favored by lobbying groups, like compensatory education, or services for children with disabilities, or the child care tax credit, or TANF child care support in the Welfare Reform Act, when it was decided that poor mothers had to return to work. We have a fragmented, even fractured system of programs and funding streams. It's almost impossible to integrate and make helpful to families. Based on what happened recently with the Common Core and resistance to it, it seems unlikely that a common vision in the US could be developed by the US Department of Education. Education is the purview of the states, and it is unclear where concern and policies for children before school age should reside. Perhaps if those programs were housed in Health and Human Services, it might be more possible to think about a national vision, not a curriculum necessarily, but perhaps a vision.
I think another approach with that idea of what is the vision could also happen at the state level. So if we can't do it as a national vision, at least maybe we can pull together districts within our states to have a common vision. And I think, so even within the state level, we have this fracturing. I do think that there is hope and optimism for this. And I think that it really relies on that idea of maybe first and foremost, developing a vision of what it is that we across our Department of Education, across our Department of Health and Human Services, across our governor's early childhood councils, and the advocates, practitioners, and families within our state need to come together to create that vision. I think it's important to have that vision come first to help us then identify potential curriculum that best aligns with our vision as a state. And I would have to say this is no easy task, but I am optimistic that by coming together across state departments and across families and across practitioners, we can develop a unified vision, maybe at a state level and not a national level, to help support our vision for children, including what curriculum might be best to support that vision.
Great. You've given us some inspirational words about what early childhood education could be at the national level or at the state level. Thank you so much for sharing your wisdom, and look forward to hearing more about the work.
Thank you for watching this video on the Monograph issue, Effects of Pre-Kindergarten Curricula, Tools of the Mind as a Case Study by Nesbitt and Farran. If you liked this video, please consider watching our Monograph Matters playlist. For additional resources related to this and other issues of the monographs of the Society for Research in Child Development, please visit monographmatters.srcd.org.